Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskrityam
Narayanam Namaskrityam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Tato Jayam Mudiraye
Tato Jayamudiraye.
Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu
Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki.
Bhakti Bhavati Naishtaki.
So Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
We are reading from Canto 1, the creation, chapter 19, the appearance of Śukadeva Gosvāmī. And we start from the verse 30. Canto 1, chapter 19, verse number 30. Please repeat after me. Rajo Vacha. Aho vayam dhanyatma. Aho vayam dhanyatma nripanam.
Aho vayam dhanyatma nripanam.
Mahattamanu grahaniya shilaha.
Mahattamanu grahanashilaya.
Ragnam rajam kulam brahmanadvadas shochar.
Kulam brahmana pada sochar.
Durad vishishtam balagravya karma.
Durad vishishtam balagrahana karma.
Rajo vacha.
Rajo vacha.
Aho vayam dhanyatma nripanam.
Aho vayam dhanyatma.
Mahattamanu grahaniya shilaha.
Mahattamanu grahaniya shilaha.
Ragnam kulam brahmanapada shochar.
Ragnam kulam brahmana pada sochar.
Durad vishishtam batagukarya karma.
Durad vishishtam batagukarya karma.
Rajo vacha.
Aho vayam dhanyatma nripanam.
Aho vayam dhanyatma nripanam.
Mahatmanan grahaniya shila.
Mahattamanu grahaniya shilaha.
Ragnam kulam brahmana pada sochar.
Ragnam kulam brahmanapada shochar.
Durad vishishtam batagrahya karma.
Durad vishishtam batagrahya karma. Rajo vacha. Aho vayam dhanyatma nripanam. Mahattamanu grahaniya shilaha. Ragnam kulam brahmanapada shochar. Durad vishishtam batagrahya karma. Please repeat after me. Raja Uvacha.
Raja Uvacha.
The fortunate king said,
The fortunate king said,
Aho,
Aho,
ah,
Ah,
vayam,
vayam,
we,
we,
dhanya tamaha,
Dhanyatamaha,
most thankful,
most thankful,
Nipanam,
Ripanam,
of all the kings,
all
all
the
the
kings,
kings,
Mahattama,
Mahatma,
of the great souls,
of the great souls,
Anugrahaniya Shilaha,
Anugrahaniya Shilaha,
trained to get favors,
trained to get favors,
Ragnam,
Ragnam,
of the royal,
of
of
the
the
royal,
royal,
Kulam,
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 orders,
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 Brahmana Pada,
Brahmana
Brahmana
Pada,
Pada,
feet of the Brahmanas,
feet of the Brahmanas,
Shauchat,
Shaucha,
refuse after cleaning,
refuse after cleaning,
Durat,
Durat,
at a distance,
at a distance,
Vishishtam,
Vishishtam,
always left out,
always left out,
Bataha,
Pataha,
on account of,
on account of
Garyaha,
Garyaha,
condemnable,
condemnable,
Karma,
karma,
activities.
activities.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. The fortunate king said, indeed, we are the most grateful of all the kings who are trained to get favors from the great souls. Generally, you, sages, consider royalty as refuse to be rejected and left in a distant place. Purport. According to religious principles, stool, urine, wash water, etc. must be left at a long distance. Attached bathrooms, urinals, etc. may be very convenient amenities of modern civilization, but they are ordered to be situated at a distance from residential quarters. That very example is cited herein in relation to the kingly order for those who are progressively marching back to Godhead. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that to be in intimate touch with dollars and cents men or the kingly order is worse than suicide for one who desires to go back to Godhead. In other words, the transcendentalists do not generally associate with men who are too enamored by the external beauty of God's creation. By advanced knowledge in spiritual realization, the transcendentalist knows that this beautiful material world is nothing but a shadowy reflection of the reality, the kingdom of God. They are not therefore very much captivated by royal opulence or anything like that. But in the case of Maharaj Parikshit, the situation was different. Apparently, the king was condemned to death by an inexperienced Brahmana boy, but factually he was called by the Lord to return to him. Other transcendentalists, the great sages, mystics, who assembled together because of Maharaj Parikshit's fasting unto death, were quite anxious to see him, for he was going back to Godhead. Maharaj Parikshit also could understand that the great sages who assembled there were all kind to his forefathers, the Pandavas, because of their devotional service to the Lord. He therefore felt grateful to the sages for being present there at the last stage of his life. And he felt that it was all due to the greatness of his late forefathers or grandfathers. He felt proud, therefore, that he happened to be the descendant of such great devotees. Such pride for the devotees of the Lord is certainly not equal to the puffed up sense of vanity for material prosperity. The first is reality, whereas the other is false and vain. Om Ajnanatimrandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sarvaitam Sarvadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namasute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Pancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyaharivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo 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 Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namne Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshitarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vacharam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatam Aham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarnam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So this verse, the context here is that Maharaj Parikshit is being cursed by the inexperienced Brahmana boy, and after hearing this curse, what he decides to do, that he will be bitten by a snake in 7 days, he decides to go to the bank of the Yamuna, the Ganges. And in the previous verses, we see how it is described, this description of arrival of the sages from different planets, and they have come all to witness this glorious departure. And the very first verse that Maharaj Parikshit is speaking, after going to the bank of Ganges or Yamuna, what is he saying? Aho vayam dhanyatma. And here Prabhupada translates dhanyatma as most thankful. So Parikshit Maharaj, he's a exalted devotee, and to witness his departure, all the sages have come to witness this event, and it's a very important event in any devotee's life. And further, Prabhupada writes in the purport that these transcendentalists or sages, they have assembled together because they are quite anxious to see him, for he's going back to God. Someone who is dying, how in any tradition, if someone is dying, they would not celebrate this, or they would not. Death is always undercovered in our society. However, this we see, the sages are coming all the way. It is said that the ashrams all over the world, the sages took all their disciples, and they basically all the ashrams were locked out. There was nobody, and everybody wanted to witness his departure. And we see that also in the material world, this tendency is there. When, for example, if I want to be a successful businessman, or if I want to be successful in a particular field, I would, do some research about how these persons who have been successful in that particular field, how they have achieved what they have achieved. So we try to, listen to their podcast, what's their journey, how did they become that successful, how did they become that successful businessman. And that's how we get inspiration to do something in our life, if that's what we are aspiring for. Or we try to imitate them, we try to follow in their footsteps. So similarly, spiritualists as well, how it is said, Prabhupada says in the purport that how the material world is a reflection of the spiritual world. Therefore, whatever happens in the spiritual world is also, it's a reflection. But so in material world, we are aspiring for, when people are aspiring for enamored beauty, or the external features of this illusory energy, they are getting inspiration from materialistic people. However, in spirituality, it is said that we are here, it is saying that how this, they are taking inspiration from Parikshit Maharaj. These sages have come and they have gathered to hear about this description of how Parikshit Maharaj is going to leave his body. So similarly, we are also, however, so Bhāgavatam is also like that. We get inspiration from these lives of the devotees, that how they have led these beautiful lives, and we take inspiration, we try to follow in their footsteps, and then we get some success. It is, and when we hear these stories from the Bhāgavatam or Chaitanya Charitamrita, when we hear the pastimes of the devotees, the common thread that we observe in these devotees is that they are fallen. They pose themselves as they are fallen, or they pose themselves they're very humble. But they are not posing. Actuality, they feel like that. There are so many examples in the Shastras, in the scriptures, where it shows that how devotees they are posing themselves, or they are actually feeling this humility. And they have achieved marvelous feats in their lives. We see the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Gosvāmī, he's saying that I am worse than the worm in the stool. So for a person who has written descriptions about Mahaprabhu, Lord Krishna himself, and he's posing like this, that, he's writing, and it's not that he's just writing it for the sake of it, no, he's actually feeling it. He's saying, Jagai Madhai Haite Muni Se Papishta, Puri Shera Kita Haite Muni Se Lavishta, that I am more sinful than Jagai and Madhai, and even lower than the worms in the stool. And we may wonder that a person who has written so much, this is, if he's writing like this for himself, that means it's a case of low self-esteem. He needs to see a counselor. But that's not the case. It's actually they are feeling that joy while performing the devotional service. They are not feeling, oh, Krishna is so great and I am so tiny. Their feeling is, though I am so tiny, but Krishna is so great, so compassionate that he gives me his mercy. And that's that's the change in the shift that they feel. They feel that Krishna is genuinely so kind, yet I am so fallen that still Krishna is taking care. And that's why we say that devotional services, susukham kartam avyayam, that it is joyfully performed. It is, and that's how they are feeling. They are feeling that joy in this process of devotional service. And when we hear about these, pastimes, or when we hear about this, their humility, we feel it's hard to digest, because in material world, unless we pose ourselves something or we try to fake it, we can't make it. It's said that, if you try to pose yourselves or you try to present yourself in a menial manner, people don't take you seriously. Everybody wants to be boss on boss, like everybody wants to be the controller. While the spiritual world is the opposite, it's a reflection. They want to be dasan das. They want to be the servant of the servant of the servant. And that's the contrary behavior that we see. However, these souls, these great sages, they are not feeling like that. They never claim themselves to be great. All the pure devotees, they never claim themselves to be great. And we see the example of Parikshit Maharaj. How he's not an ordinary devotee. Before even taking birth in the spiritual world, in the material world, he saw Krishna in the womb of his mother. So imagine if someone has seen God, wouldn't they use their influence to, for example, if I know somebody influential in the material world, and if I'm in a trouble, wouldn't I use my influence to get out of this problem? However, he's not feeling like that. He has seen Krishna himself in the womb. Before even taking birth, he's already seen the Lord. And he may have used his, his bhakti to counter that curse that the Brahmana boy had given him. But that's not what he did. So he's so powerful, yet what is he saying? That you sages, you consider royalty as a refuse. And a refuse means, royalty is considered, why is it saying like that? Why he's saying like this is because in generally the Brahmanas, in the social order, Brahmanas, Kshatriyas. So Kshatriyas are the second most, they come after Brahmanas. And that's how he's actually presenting, he's actually feeling that you, though we are the kings, however, you are the Brahmanas, you are higher than us. And I'm like this refuse which is to be rejected. But he's not ordinary. He has, when he was in his mother's womb and Ashwatthama had shot this Brahmastra at his mother's womb, his mother came running to Krishna. What did she say? Pahi pahi mahayogi, deva deva jagatpate, nanyam tvad pashyam, nanyam tvad abhayam pashye, yatra mrityu parasvaram. That, oh Krishna, only you can save us. Only you can save me. You are the Deva Deva Jagatpate, that you are the greatest of mystics. So Lord Krishna, he personally came to save him. And so he's not an ordinary being. And not only that, what did he do? He also stopped Kali. So when we say he stopped Kali, he also stopped, in one sense, he stopped time. Because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Kalosmi, Aham Kalosmi, that means I am time. So he's that powerful, Maharaj Parikshit, that he's stopping the time. He has that ability. However, of course, we see that when Kali takes the shelter of Maharaj Parikshit, he actually gives him shelter. So he's not an ordinary person, Maharaj Parikshit. Still he's thinking that I am the one who is to be rejected. Few things Prabhupada points in this book, what he says, Durad Vishwashtam Bata Garya Karma. Prabhupada is saying that royalty is to be refused and left in a distant place. for people who want to advance in spiritual life. So what is the lesson for us here? That if we want to be advanced, if we want to practice bhakti, if we want to progress in our spiritual journey, we do not have to associate with rich people or people who are interested in external advancement in terms of money, power, position, or followers, So we have to be very mindful. And by association, we don't mean that when we say that we don't associate with them, doesn't mean that we don't talk to them, or we close our ears, we close our eyes, we don't look at them, we don't interact with them. That's not association. The real meaning of association is we are taking their values. That's what association means. So if we even have, even we are on the path of bhakti, if we go to a very opulent house and there is that desire comes, and that desire is so subtle, that's the reason why Prabhupada is saying that the association of these persons is, it's worse than suicide. So why is it worse than suicide? So people who want to go back to Godhead, for them, the association of such people is worse than suicide. Suicide means you're finishing this life. But worse than suicide means, that means you're playing with your consciousness. So when, when we say that Krishna protects us, it doesn't mean that Krishna only protects our body. Not necessarily Krishna always protects our body. It means that Krishna may or may not protect the body. However, Krishna will always protect the devotee's consciousness. And that's more important. So when we associate with these people who are, they aim to be inspired by they aim to be attracted by the illusionary energy of Krishna, or power, position, money, or we take their values, then what happens is our consciousness is disturbed. When Gopaleshwar Prabhu was here, he was giving this example that an ant who's traveling from one place to another, and that's what his destination is. She wants to go from one place to another. However, in the middle, she sees a piece of sugar, and then she gets distracted. And that's our position. So we have come here in the material world to get some purification. It's like a rehab center. This material world is described as a rehab center. We come in a prison, we do what is needed for us, and then we purify our life and we go back to God. That's our purpose. However, when we come to this material world, we get distracted by so many distractions. Oh, I want this. Probably, and we try to delay our surrender. Oh, this doesn't seem right. Oh, probably I'll do this, but I'll come back to this. I'll come back to you, Krishna. Let me do this first. So we try to, we try to deviate from our path, and that's what happens when we associate with people who are not as advanced in the spiritual bhakti, or they are enamored by the external beauty of material world. Here Prabhupada gives the example of Lord Chaitanya. How Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said what? To be in intimate touch with dollars and centsmen or kingly order. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu not only told this, but he also followed it. He showed that by his example when he was in Jagannath Puri, and so the king of Jagannath Puri, Maharaj Prataparudra, he wanted to meet Mahaprabhu. So Mahaprabhu denied the audience to him. He said, when Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya came to Mahaprabhu, this very saintly king, and he wants to meet you. Please give him your darshan, please give him your mercy. And then Mahaprabhu closes his ears like this. Like, no, what are you saying? What happened to you? Why are you saying like this? I can't associate with a kingly man or kingly person. It's worse than suicide. And then Prabhupada says that then we see in that pastime how when Maharaj Parikshit when Maharaj Pratap Rudra was seen sweeping the road for Jagannath Rath Yatra, then Mahaprabhu saw, oh, who is this, dressed in a ragged clothes, and he's actually sweeping the floor, sweeping the road for Jagannath. And then his heart melted, and then he gave mercy to Maharaj Pratap Rudra as well. So we see that humility is something that attracts Krishna, that attracts Mahaprabhu. And when we associate with these world-minded people, or people who are very much their goal, their aim is Shishratagiri Govardhanari. When we see that these people have this, when they are attracted by Krishna, or when they are attracted by Krishna's illusory energy, when we associate with these people, what happens is we lose our focus, we lose our purpose. And the second thing Prabhupada talks in the purport is this attitude of gratitude. Parikshit Maharaj is saying that you sages have come because of the greatness of my forefathers. So he's not taking the credit. He's very thankful. He's very grateful for the association of the devotees. He's saying that he's taking pride. Maharaj Parikshit is taking pride because these sages have come because of their devotional service, because of the forefathers. They were all kind to his forefathers, the Pandavas. So he's not taking the credit. He's saying that because of their devotional service, that these sages have come to me. They are witnessing this. They want to witness my departure. And so this pride, Prabhupada says, it's not like material pride. So when we are materially proud, what we do is we are puffed up by our external things. Oh, I can sing so well. Oh, I can have such a big house. I have such a big car. That's how we are puffed up. But this pride is transcendental pride. He's taking pride in his forefathers, in his uncles, in his grandfather, that because of their devotion, that these sages have been very kind to me. And Maharaj Prabhupada translates, he is saying that Maharaj is feeling very fortunate. Aho vayam dhanyatma. Dhanyatma means most thankful. He is feeling very thankful. So just imagine if we get a curse that we are about to die in 7 days, and we will be in so much anxiety. Oh, I have to do so many things before I die. But as we hear in so many classes, in so many lectures, that at least Maharaj Parikshit knew he's going to die in 7 days. But there's no guarantee when are we going to die. But as opposed to Maharaj Parikshit, if I can take my example, if I get to know, I'll start fixing things around my life. Oh, I need to give passwords. Oh, I need to know. I need to tell, my children these things. I need to tell my husband these things about that, or this and that. What Maharaj Parikshit is doing, even after he gets the curse, when he meets these sages, he's feeling grateful. Imagine that consciousness, that you feel that this consciousness, that realization that the association with the devotees is far more greater than what I have, than my death. So my body is finishing, that's alright, but let me associate with the sages. And he is not only taking that as a duty, he is feeling that I want to associate with that. He has that realization that this association of devotees is the most important. Lord Kapila Dev in 3rd Canto, he says to Mother Devahuti, there's a beautiful chapter which describes the glories of devotional service. And the verse goes like this. Satam prasangam mama veya samvido bhavanti hitkarna rasayana kataha tajoshanat asvapavarga vartmani shraddharatir bhaktir anugramishati. So Lord Kapila Dev, who is Krishna himself, he incarnates as Kapila Dev, and he comes instruct his mother Devahuti. And what does this translation say? It says that in the association of pure devotees, discussion of the pastimes and activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is very pleasing and satisfying to the ear and the heart. By cultivating such knowledge, one gradually becomes advanced on the path of liberation, and thereafter he is freed and his attraction becomes fixed, and then the real devotion service begins. So what happens, Prabhupada is saying, what happens in the association of pure devotees? One, it increases our attraction to Krishna, and it decreases our attachment to material world. So that's how when we say that we engage in devotional service, so devotional service has that fire that can, it is like this, it acts like this, it acts like this water which can extinguish the blazing fire of material existence. And so it's like this example Prabhupada gives that often used to give, that when we are hungry and when we eat, it nourishes our body. We feel satisfied. And similarly, when we hear Krishna Katha, it nourishes our soul. So when we are hungry and we eat, nobody has to tell us that you are satisfied. No, because we feel that no, you've not eaten enough, you have to eat more. No, but I'm satisfied. So similarly, when we come in the association of pure devotees, when we come in the association and we hear Bhagavatam, then what happens is it nourishes our soul. And Maharaj Parishad is realizing this gratitude, that how these sages have been so kind to me that they have come to visit me. Not because of me, but because of my grandfathers. And gratitude is also at 3 levels. It is said that when someone does something for us, the first level of gratitude is we acknowledge that, oh yes, this person has done something for me. But then we don't say thank you. The second level of gratitude is we meet somebody and we see that they have done something for us. We acknowledge that in our mind and we also say thank you. The third level of gratitude is when we acknowledge it in our mind, we say thank you, and we also do something in return for them. Something, say for example, if someone really helps us, if we are, have really helped us in our material situation. They've given us a job, they've given us, through that job, we were able to sustain our family, we were able to sustain the house that we live in. So how will we feel towards that person? We'll feel that gratitude. And we will go running towards them and we ask them, okay, how can I help you? How can I serve you? And that's what Maharaj Parishad is feeling, that how come these devotees, sages have come? And he's feeling that gratitude. And one person that we should feel gratitude towards is Srila Prabhupada. How much he has sacrificed for us, how much he has labored his nights so that we can read Prabhupada books. And the one way to do things for Prabhupada is read his purports. We come for Bhagavatam class every day. We join Bhagavatam classes in the morning. Yes, that's very good. But we also have to go deeper. There are 5 things. It is said that there are 5 ways we should study Bhagavatam. One is when we hear from devotees, when we hear online classes or when we come for the sanghas. Second is we also do our study, our own study at home. Because what happens is when we do our own study at home, we also get questions. Third is we memorize the verses. Rajkrishna Prabhu emphasizes so much on this point that we need to memorize our verses. So just imagine, what if we memorize our verses, what happens is our consciousness is purified. What's that? Srīmad swakatha Krishna punya shravana kirtana hriday antasto so abhadrani vidunoti suhasritam. So when we're constantly hearing about Krishna, when we memorize these verses, so just imagine we are on the deathbed, but if we have memorized few verses, at least we can offer that at that time we can offer those verses to Krishna. Our consciousness, the more we hear about Krishna, it said vidhunoti subhasitam, that Krishna is actually cleaning our heart. And so third is when we memorize the verses. Fourth is when we are reading on the second part, when I said when we're reading purports, when we are reading on our own, we're doing our own study, we get questions, right? We ask these questions with our seniors. We confirm these. Oh, this is my doubt. Is this how I approach it? And then the fifth is the fourth is we ask questions. The fifth is we discuss this. We also discuss this with our family. You know that we say that, oh, I can't practice Krishna consciousness at my work. Yes, fair enough. Not always we can practice Krishna consciousness at work. However, we can practice Krishna consciousness at home. We come and it is said that when we, in association of devotees, we are doing Krishna Katha, Kirtan and Prasadam. But we can also do that at home with our family members on a day-to-day basis. Who's stopping us? When we come together, we just, or, like my Guru Maharaj used to say that when we read something nice in the Bhagavatam, we discuss it with our family members. Hey, I read this. What do you think about this? Or, my Guru Maharaj recalls this. There was this devotee when he was the temple president in Vrindavan. There was a devotee who used to come in his office and used to say, "Hey Prabhu, I want to read this Bhagavatam, this purport. Just see how wonderful this purport is." And then my Guru Maharaj said he realized that how that devotee was a real friend of Srila Gurudev, because he was giving him Krishna. Sachinandan Maharaj, he has this. One time Braj Bihari Prabhu was saying that how when Braj Bihari Prabhu is a devotee in Chowpatty, ISKCON, Mumbai, and he was recalling this incident where he had this service of taking care of visiting guests. And one time Sachinandan Maharaj came. So he was taking care of him, Braj Bihari Prabhu. He was washing his clothes as a brahmachari. He was washing. He was taking care of his needs, cooking for him, like that. And then, one time he was, it was night time, and he came in Maharaj's room, and he said, "Okay, Maharaj, now I have ironed your clothes, I have kept your milk here, now I'm going, Hare Krishna, I'll see you in the morning." And then Sachinandan Maharaj stopped him. "Hey, you can't go like this. Just stay here and give me Krishna." And then Braj Bihari Prabhu said, "Give you Krishna? How do I give you Krishna?" He's like, "No, whatever you heard in the classes, whatever you have heard in the past few days, in the Bhagavatam class or in your own study, just share that with me." And then Maharaj is, so Braj Bihari Prabhu is sitting and he's talking, whatever he has heard, whatever little he has heard, he's talking about Krishna. And then he says, "Okay, now, he gives, whatever he has heard, he shares with Maharaj, and he says, "Okay, Maharaj, now I'll take your leave." And then Maharaj said, "Hey, wait a minute. I also want to give you Krishna. You sit here and I'll read to you." And then he starts talking about Krishna. And then after a few minutes, he said, "Okay, now you can go." So this way we can also, do these small things in our life. We can, when we say, "Oh, I have a job, I have children, I have family to take care of." Even at home, let's pick up Krishna book and read it to our children. That's devotional service. We don't have to go out of the way or come to the temple if every time, but we can also practice this at home. And so that's how we can show gratitude to Prabhupada as well. Coming back to the purport where Maharaj Parikshit is feeling that gratitude, and we can also show that gratitude to Prabhupada by reading his books. And there is this Canto 5, chapter 14, where Jad Bharat is he is Maharaj Bharat is known to be the king of the entire world, and the story goes like this, that he meets this king in his third life as Jad Bharat. He meets this king, and this king is chastising Maharaj Jad Bharat that, hey, how are you carrying this? He was carrying him on a palanquin. He's like, how are you carrying me on a palanquin? Because he was, while walking, Maharaj Jad Bharat was seeing these ants on the floor, and he was walking like that so that he doesn't step on those ants. And Maharaj Rahugana was feeling these bumps in the ride, and he was feeling that, hey, what are you doing? Such a strong man, he's telling to Jad Bharat, how are you riding this palanquin? Walk straight. So then, Jad Bharat gives him this knowledge, or this Atma Gyan about, what is the, you are saying like this to me. I understand, I'm not doing my duty properly. However, I'm also taking care of these ants, and also I'm the soul. You're talking to my body, but I'm the soul. And then when Maharaj Rahugana hears this from Jad Bharat, that, then he realizes that he's not an ordinary person. So then what he does is, he instructs, he actually falls down at the feet of Maharaj Rahugana. Maharaj Rahugana falls down at the feet of Jad Bharat, and he says that, please instruct me about the science of this self-realization. And then there is this beautiful chapter in Canto 5, chapter 14, which says, the forest of enjoyment. In that chapter, in that particular verse, Prabhupada is comparing, so Jad Bharat is comparing this material world as a forest, and how he's describing the dangers of the material world. So in that purport, Prabhupada adds that how important it is, within the dangers of the material world, how important it is to take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master, to take shelter of devotees. And he's signifying this importance of devotees. So in that purport, Prabhupada says, Sadhu Sangha Sarva Shastra Koi, Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha Sarva Siddhi Hoy. And then Prabhupada says that even by a little association with devotees, the conditioned soul can get out of this miserable material condition. Therefore, all the members and this Krishna consciousness movement is therefore trying to give everyone a chance to associate with saintly people. And then Prabhupada writes, therefore, all the members of this Krishna consciousness society must themselves be perfect sadhus in order to give a chance to fallen conditioned souls. This is the best humanitarian work. And to become, Prabhupada is asking us to become a perfect sadhu. And he's not asking only few of the devotees can do that. No, he's not saying that. He's saying all the members of the Krishna conscious society must themselves be perfect sadhus. And in order to be a perfect sadhu, we have to read books. We have to read Prabhupada books. Prabhupada has sacrificed countless nights for us so that we can transform ourselves, and we can also give this. And he's saying this is the best humanitarian work, so we can share this knowledge with others. Krishna Prabhu says, become a sage page by page. So even if, small things, taking a vow of, in the first instruction that my Guru Maharaj gave me when we met him, was read Bhagavatam every day. Even if it's 1 page, 2 pages, 1 verse, a purport, just read it every day. Do that consistently. And I can vouch for that when we do this every day, we develop this attachment to Bhagavatam. And we see people, or we see the world around us through the eyes of Shastra, through the eyes of what Prabhupada has mentioned in the purport. Of course, so Prabhupada is asking us to become a perfect sadhu. It's a big shoes to fill in. However, it's not impossible. it is difficult, still it's not impossible. We have seen so many people. I can take the example of my own Guru Maharaj, that how he has led this life of devotion. His life was, even regardless of how many impediments, he was shot by a gunda, by a dacoit, and still things like that, it did not deteriorate his devotion. It did not hamper, it did not have the power to hamper his devotion. And we see, because the process of devotional service is so powerful, that once you are attached to this, you realize that there is nothing else that's worth outside this movement. And so yes, taking, like I said, 5 ways to study Bhagavatam. One way is when we attend these classes. Second is we read on our own as well. Third is we memorize verses. Fourth, we question with others, with senior devotees, based on our reading. Fifth is when we discuss it with others. And it is possible through when I'm talking about discussing with others, it is possible through the association of devotees. I can't discuss Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita with people who don't have faith in them. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Vanchita Matka Prana Bodhayantas Parasparam Kathayantas Chamam Tushyam Kathayantas Chamam Nityam Tushyanti Charamanti. That what happens when the devotees meet? The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me, and therefore they derive great satisfaction by conversing about me. Bodhayantas Parasparam. That when they are conversing with each other, they derive Tushyanti Charamanti. They feel satisfied because their thoughts are always thinking about me. They are always thinking about me. So when we associate with devotees, what happens when we Krishna becomes the center of our association. And what happens is, in that association, we get this coping mechanism to deal with the material world. Two things happen. Material world, we get this this ability, or this what do you call it? Yeah, ability, you can say, coping mechanism. We get that, how to deal with this material world, and also simultaneously we get attracted to Krishna. We get attracted to this process, and that's how important it is to associate with devotees. So when Prabhupada is saying that chant 16 rounds, follow 4 regulated principles, associate with devotees, read Bhagavatam, read Bhagavad Gita, and you will go back to Godhead, I guarantee it, that means we will go back to Godhead. Why? Because actually Krishna honors the words of his pure devotee. When Prabhupada has promised us that he is, if you chant 16 rounds, if you follow 4 regulated principles, we are going back to Godhead, that means we are going back to Godhead. In this regard, there is this verse in Canto 6 from Prahlad Maharaj pastime, when Hiranyakashipu asked for these benedictions from Lord Brahma, that I am not to be killed by a man, animal, not in the day, not in the light, not outside the house, not inside the house, not by a weapon, not by. So, in that there's this particular verse where it says Brahma Uchu or Rishi Ruchu. That means the words of the devotee. And in that Prabhupada writes that when a rishi, when a pure devotee says something, when he promises something, then Krishna makes sure that this promise is fulfilled. So that's how we see that Krishna, even though he is superior to Brahma, but still when Brahma promised Hiranyakashipu that these conditions, you will not be killed by so and so things, Krishna and honored that, and Krishna came in the form of Lord Nrsimhadev. He followed every boon that Lord Brahma gave to Hiranyakashipu. Because he's a pure devotee, and that's how Prabhupada writes that when Rishi Ruchu, that when a pure devotee is promising something, that means that will happen. That is going to happen. So when Prabhupada is saying, we are going back to Godhead after chanting 16 rounds and 4 regulative principles, we are going back to God. And then again, provided we are in the association of devotees and we respect each other, we realize this importance of associating with each other. Prabhupada gives this formula of in Nectar of Instruction. Rupa Gosvāmī gives how we can how to associate with devotees. And one verse goes like this: Dadati pratigrinanti guyam akhyati prachati bhumte bhojayate chaiva sadvidham pritilakshanam. So there are 6 ways we need to associate with devotees. Offering gift, dadati, offering gifts in charity. Pratigrananti, accepting charitable gifts. Guyam akhyati, that means we revealing one mind in confidence to devotees. You know, when we have some problems, we try to share with them. We try to, in confidence, we try to ask questions about our life. And we also inquire confidentially. We prachati, akhyati prachati. Bhumte bhojaye cheva. That means accepting prasad and offering prasad. So these are the 6 symptoms of sadvidham pritilakshanam, of love between devotees. So therefore that's why this this is the way Prabhupada gives that how to associate with devotees. One is we offer gifts in charity, accepting charitable gifts. We reveal one's mind in confidence to devotees. We inquire confidentially. We accept prasad. We offer prasad. These are the priti lakshanam, satvidam priti lakshanam. These are the 6 symptoms of love shared by between devotees. So Maharaj Parikshit is therefore showing this gratitude of that these sages have come, and he's also not taking credit. He's not saying that, oh, these sages have come because I am the king of the entire world. No, he's saying that they have come here because of my forefathers, because of their devotion. And he's grateful for that. So gratitude is something that, this verse begins with Dhanyatma. So it highlights the importance of gratitude in devotional service. Yes. I'll move on to the next verse. If anyone has any questions or comments about this verse. Alright, we can move on to the next verse. Text number 14, 1:19:14. Tasyeva meghasya paramharesho vyasat chittasya grihishva abhikshanam nirveda mulo dvijasaparupo yatra prasakto bhayamashuddhate. Synonyms: Tasya, his, eva, certainly, me, mine, agasya, of the sinful, para, transcendental, avara, mundane, ishaha, controller, the Supreme Lord, vyasakta, overly attached, chitasya, of the mind, griheshu, to family affairs, abhikshnam, always, nirveda mulaha, the source of detachment, dvijashapa, cursing by the Brahmana, rupaha, form of, yatra, whereupon, prasakta, one who is affected, bhayam, fearfulness, ashu, very soon, dhatte, take place. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the controller of both the transcendental and mundane worlds, has graciously overtaken me in the form of a Brahmana curse. Due to my being too much attached to family life, the Lord, in order to save me, has appeared before me in such a way that only out of fear I will detach myself from the world. Purport. Maharaj Parikshit, although born in a family of great devotees, the Pandavas, and although securely retrained in transcendental attachment for the association of the Lord, still found the allurement of mundane family life so strong that he had to be detached by a plan of the Lord. Such direct action is taken by the Lord in the case of a special devotee. Maharaj Parikshit could understand this by the presence of the topmost transcendentalist in the universe. The Lord resides with his devotees, and therefore the presence of great saints indicated the presence of the Lord. The king therefore welcomed the presence of the great rishis as a mark of favor of the Supreme Lord. So Maharaj Parikshit's reflection continues. First he said that I am very thankful for your, and then his reflection is continuing. So we see how he's setting this example of great lineage. He's setting this example of upholding grateful acceptance of Krishna's plan. He's not trying to counteract that. And it is said that the wonderful thing that in one of the verses that we read before, that how Maharaj Parikshit did not go to Shamik Muni. Why he did not go to? Because he did not want to embarrass him further. And that's the power of a Vaishnava. He is thinking, Śukadeva Prabhu mentioned that, paradukha dukhi. He's like, when someone is feeling that he doesn't want to embarrass, Maharaj Parikshit doesn't want to embarrass, because he's already embarrassed of his son's act. He doesn't want to embarrass him further, that's why he doesn't go there and question him or try to justify him. So in this verse, in this particular purport, Prabhupada is saying how he is upholding this grateful acceptance of Krishna's plan. And Krishna says that Mrityu Sarva Haraschaham. In Bhagavad Gita he says that I am all devouring death. So when the difference that Prabhupada points out in the purport is that when people who are surrendered to Krishna, they see everything as a plan of the Lord. And even that includes death as well. On the other hand, people who are rebellious, what do? Every time they want to avoid Krishna, or they don't want to acknowledge the authority of a supreme, of a divine being in their life. Therefore, and the only way they realize, or the non-devotees realize Krishna is by death. When they die, they understand actually there is something superior to me as well. So in this case, Parikshit Maharaj he's showing this example of how a kitten in the mouth of a cat feels so secure. Parikshit Maharaj is also feeling like that because this is all plan of the Lord, hence I am secured. And then Parikshit Maharaj is not only feeling that, he's also going deeper. What is he saying that? He is also becoming sensitive to the potential anarthas that he has. Of course, he's a pure devotee, but he's acknowledging that the allurement of material life is so strong that allurement of mundane family life is so strong that he had to be detached by the plan of the Lord. And he's showing us that that's how a conditioned living entity is. Even when, there are two ways Radhanath Maharaj says that material world tricks us, or the Maya Devi tricks us, and it tricks both the devotees and the non-devotees. How it tricks non-devotees? By telling them, do not surrender to Krishna. You are the boss. You don't surrender to Krishna. How it tricks devotees? By delaying their surrender. By postponing their surrender. Oh yes, you have found the path, but that's okay. Let me get back to this. Let me get back to my work. Oh no, I think this path is perfect. However, there are still few things that I want to do in this material world as well. So we try to delay our surrender. We try to postpone our surrender. How it's like this example of how our desires keep increasing. One day we are satisfied with something, and then the very next year or next day, something comes up. Like how when we came as students, some people came as a student to Australia. What their desire was, I wish I get PR. And then when they get PR, I wish I have a job. And then the citizenship. And then the house. And then the family. And then the children. And then it keeps going on. So that's how Mayadevi tricks us. It delays our surrender. It keeps postponing our surrender. But that's not how Maharaj Parikshit is seeing. He did not delay his surrender. He said, okay, I've got this plan. I've got this curse, which is a blessing. I'm seeing this as a plan of Krishna. And that's Krishna consciousness. Seeing Krishna's hand in everything is Krishna consciousness. One time someone asked my Guru Maharaj that, have you seen Krishna? And then my Guru Maharaj replied that, I have not seen Krishna, but I see his hand every day in my life. And that's what a pure devotee is. He's seeing this, that's what Parikshit Maharaj is displaying. He's saying that it is all plan of the Lord. And then, and he admits that because of this allurement of material world or allurement of family life, Krishna has to devise this plan so that I can go back to him. Prabhupada writes in, there's a famous verse Prabhupada used to quote this very often when Lord Rishabhdeva is instructing his 100 sons about the material world and in general about spirituality. Then he says Pumsam Priya Pumsam Sriya Maithuli Bhāgavatam Tayur Mithahir Devantiyahur Ayovayam Aho Griha Kshetra Sutapta Vitte Chanasya Mohoyamaham Mameti. So what Lord Rishabhdeva is instructing that, my dear sons, the attraction between male and female is the basic principle of material existence. And on the basis of this misconception, what happens is, Hriday Granthim Ahu. Our hearts is that we have hard knots in our heart. We think, oh, this man is my husband. This girl is my wife. And because of this attraction, what happens is, it creates this knot in the heart which is very difficult to undo. And what happens in that? Then we become attracted to Ato Griha Kshetra Suta Apta. With Suta means our children. Ato Graha means home. Kshetra, property, children, wealth. Like that we keep becoming attached. And what happens in that attachment? We start to considering this as I and mine. This is mine. However, in the same purport, Prabhupada also writes, which is comforting for us, that when the family, when devotees like Lord Brahma, he gives this example, if their wife and their children, they are not a cause of bondage, then they will help us in spiritual life and liberation. That's why it's very important to practice devotional service with our family. And also one more thing that my Guru Maharaj used to say is that make our phones a devotee. Make your phone a devotee. That's very important because we spend most of the time with our phones. So better make this phone a devotee. When we open this phone or when we touch our phone, we should use this as a service to Krishna. And then again, we have to surrender to the process of devotional service. How Maharaj Parikshit is not countering, and he is saying that, okay, this is what has happened with me, and I'm completely surrendered to the process of devotional service. Surrender sometimes, we feel that it's kind of a defeat. Like how we say in language of war, that the country surrendered to this country, but in actuality, in spirituality, surrender does not mean like a defeat. It means it's like a child going to their father and the mother. how they approach their father and mother. Because that's natural for them, that's loving and that's kind. They feel that warmth. Same way, we also, when we say we surrender to Krishna, when how Parikshit Maharaj is surrendering to Krishna, is that because that's our natural position, to be under the protection of Krishna. And Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, he gives these verses in 3 types of surrenders. He shows that one is, so first level of surrender is, and he gives this verse 2.7 when Arjuna is saying, I am so confused, Krishna, and I acknowledge that I know that I don't know what to do. So please instruct me. So there is this, there is this kind of surrender, that preliminary level of surrender, where we acknowledge, I don't know what to do. However, I need to ask someone. I need to take help. I need to go to the scriptures. I need to ask questions from the devotees. I need to come to the temple. So that's the first level of surrender. When we take this, we acknowledge this, that this is I don't know the answer to all the questions. Let me approach someone superior. The second level of surrender is, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 7.14, Devi Esha Gunmai Mama Maya Durateya Mama Maya Durateya Mam Eva Ye Prapadyante Mayam Etam Tarantite. Prapadya means surrender. Krishna, that's the second level of surrender. When Krishna says, okay, we come to the temple, we surrender to a person, we read the books. Now, after reading the books tells me, the devotees tell me, we take up this process of devotional service. We start practicing sadhana bhakti. We chant 16 rounds. No matter what, we take this vow that I'm going to wake up early. I'm going to chant my rounds. No matter what, I'm going to follow this 4 regulative principles. And I'll do this every day. I'll do this every day, regardless of what is happening in my life. I'm going to offer all the food to Krishna. Like that. So first level of surrender is when we acknowledge we don't have answer to the questions. Second level so we approach the devotees, we approach a book. And the second level of surrender is after approaching a devotee, after reading Prabhupada books, it says that we surrender to devotional service. So we surrender to the process of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says surrendering is also the last verse of, the last chapter of Bhagavad Gita 18.66. It goes like, Sarvadharma parityaja mam ekam sharanam praja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshyami ma sucha. That now Krishna says you have to surrender. You have to abandon everything and you have to surrender unto me. And that's the deepest level of surrender. Because we say, I'm going to do, in this situation we say, I'm ready to do whatever Krishna says. Like how the last verse of Shikshashram goes, like where Mahaprabhu is saying that lampat, he's referring Krishna to as lampat. Lampat means not faithful. And whatever he does whatever he wants to do with me. Whether he embraces me, whether he kicks me out, however, he's still my worshipful Lord. In that situation, in that surrender, we realize that Krishna, he may be rough with me, or he may treat me in ways that I can't understand, like I can't always understand. Still, all my life is difficult, but I don't blame that for Krishna. I still worship him, and I understand that Krishna is always my Lord. I'm learning to walk with him. In that situation, my Krishna's desire and my desires are completely aligned. It's like walking with Krishna. You know the word Vraja means, literal word of Vraja means to walk. So when we say Vrajavasis means they're walking with Krishna. That's why we refer to them as Vraja also means Vrindavan. But Vraja means to walk. Literal meaning of Vraja is to walk. So in this type of surrender, there comes a time in our life when we realize, yes, I have surrendered to the devotees, I have surrendered to the books of Prabhupada, I have surrendered to the process of devotional service. And it's not just the process that you're surrendered, but you actually become surrendered to now to Krishna. Because you see that Krishna is very active in our life. You start to feel His presence. Regardless of what material situation is happening, it doesn't trouble you anymore. And that's the deepest type of surrender. And that's what we learn from Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada is such a surrendered person. Whatever happened, he took that as a plan of Krishna. And he was always aligned with Krishna's will. He always thought how I can bring Krishna in the lives of these people. And similarly, Maharaj Parikshit is also thinking like this, that I am, he's not counteracting anything, he's not retaliating his curse. What he's simply doing, he's simply surrendering. And the very, the important point that I found in this purport is that the Lord resides with His devotees, and therefore the presence of the great saints indicated the presence of the Lord. So Maharaj Parikshit, through the devotees, he's feeling the presence of the Lord, and that's why he's saying that it is the plan of the Lord. Narottam Das Thakur writes in the bhajan, E baro karuna karo, Vaishnava Gosai, he says, Tumara hidoye sada Govinda Vishram, Govinda Gohine Mora, Vaishnava Paran. So what does this mean? Tumara Hridaya. So Narottam Das Thakur is saying that Vaishnavas, your Hridaya is, your heart is Tumara Hridaya, Govinda Vishram, that Govinda rests in your heart. But what does Govinda says? Govinda Gohene Mora Vaishnava Paran. That these Vaishnavas are my life and soul. Govinda is saying like this, Krishna is saying, and that even though the Vaishnavas are saying that Krishna resides in their heart, but Govinda is saying Vaishnavas are residing in my heart. Like that. And that's the transcendental, competition between the devotee and Krishna. Who loves Krishna more? Devotee or Krishna? And each time they are like, it's like this beautiful relationship of competition between. And Maharaj Parikshit is definitely feeling that. That's how he has surrendered completely to Krishna. So I'll stop here. Thank you so much for your patience, and thank you so much for being here. Are there any questions or any comments? Okay. In that case, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki, Bhagavatam ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki, Jai Gaur Premanande.
Thank you very much.